Simpson. And Japan have gone absolutely without lead. This is Whitmore. Paul and Gale both available. It's still Whitmore. It is the Reggaegirlz who take the lead.
Ball chat.
Greetings, football lovers. Welcome to BCN Sports Ball Chat Weekly. I am Benton. He's Junior. Wagwan Junior. How you stay? Happy Sunday.
Well, I'm good. Yo, you realize we are in the third month of 2026. March 1st.
Oh yeah, today 1st of March, no?
It's crazy how the year is going by fast. That means March, April, May, June. We're 4 months away from the World Cup.
What World Cup? We know it's a World Cup I keep.
Well, yeah.
You know, see man I throw rocks down at the road, huh? People are throwing stones outside the street, out in them streets. We don't know if World Cup I keep. Yo, all the people that must put in them credit card and pay for tickets right now. Yo.
And no refund.
Well, with credit card, you're supposed to have a way out. I hope them not use a debit card.
No, you have to pay. You probably have to pay for that. You have to pay for the protection, the ticket protection.
What kind of protection? I call American Express and tell the boy them say, yo, them boy scam me out of the ticket price, give them back the money, and I make American Express deal with them.
First of all, American Express is going to say, all right, sir, first of all, lower your tone. Second of all, this is the risk you take.
Kind of risk. I cancel the card immediately.
After you pay the debt, sure.
Alright, let's get to it. Jam Pack Show. We have a Jam Pack Show, Ball Chat Weekly, BCN Sports Ball Chat Weekly. We have EPL review at the top of the show. Take a look at Arsenal versus Arsenal and Man City's victorious weekend. Chelsea red card crisis. I don't know. Junior will get his. I have some comments and thoughts on this. Liverpool, yo, the big side is back. They scored 5 goals. I can't remember last time Liverpool scored 5 goals. FIFA president calling for red cards for players who cover their mouth. Who knows? I don't know. We'll take a look at Infantino statement regarding that comment. Iran and the World Cup. Iran Federation has said that their participation in the World Cup is in doubt. We'll take a look at the landscape of things leading up to the 2026 World Cup. Reggaegirlz versus Nicaragua. Roll out the bus. The big side ready. Along with the Jamaican Premier League and U20 champ Reggae Boys. I beat and teach people in the CONCACAF tournament. Alright, let's get to it, family. Arsenal victorious 2-1 over Chelsea. We did a watch along. Julian Timber with the winner. Yo, a journalist asked Mikel Arteta if he has a black eye. Mikel Arteta said he's fine if his left eye is black. He says, I'm good. The journalist said, I'm just checking on you. He's like, thank you, I'm good. Yeah, and I say all that to say this. The journalist, even the press corps, is also recognizing the stress that Mikel Arteta is under. And subsequently, this is why they're checking on him. Much needed 2-1 victory for the Gunners, Junior. It wasn't easy, though.
No, it wasn't easy. And I won't have the flyers because my wife just gave me the computer, and the computer have 1% of battery on it.
Hey, Junior, you could have just said many things. You could have said, I got the computer, I picked up the computer, but you deliberately decided to state who gave you the... Yeah, you know what? You need to sleep on the couch tonight.
Well,
you know what? What? In fact, I can take a step further. You need to sleep in that car. Oh, all right.
you know, for the game, something that dawned on me. You realize all 3 goals came off penalties, off corners.
Yes, off set piece. Yes.
All 3 goals came off corners. This is how far. Is that how far? I know this is how weird football can be. Let me just put it that way. But as for the game, if Arsenal wins the Premier League title, nobody is going to care about the way that they won it in terms of winning games like this and the way they win games. Nobody's going to say, "Oh, they won it, but they didn't play pretty football or blah 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 blah." So who cares as long as they continue to win? Like I put in the group chat, we need to circle April 18th. My backside. April
Junior
18th.
made
we have to-
a huge discovery. What did you discover during that thought? Something you uncover goal in your backyard? Aisle? I
Oh,
mean something. Because
no.
well hopefully it's not aisle, because I don't want nobody
I'm
bomb you.
actually won't be in town the weekend, Man City Arsenal weekend.
Well hopefully you'll be somewhere fun and enjoying yourself.
Well, it's not a fun occasion, but it's a fun place. But
Okay.
yeah,
There's
one of them
BM, big up yourself, big up.
big up BM. But April 18th, we have to circle that. Damn, we have to circle that weekend on the calendar. That day on the calendar, that's when Arsenal travel to the Etihad, and the way how the games are leading up to it, regardless of the results, there's going to be so many talking points on that day. And that's going to make it more intriguing. And now I'm kind of pissed off that I'm not going to be able to watch it.
Well, you can
Damn.
watch them in the EFL Cup final on March 22nd.
But that is a point that is a part of the talking point, because the winner of that game is going to have ultimate confidence going into the April 18th. It's weird. It's a weird thing, but where I'm going with it is Arsenal and Man City. They are both teetering on collapse when it comes on to the title race. I think they are both on a knife's edge. I think they are both very nervy. The game today, it was very nervy. I have to apologize again to Chelsea, the original Chelsea, not this little carbon copy Chelsea, the original Jose Mourinho Chelsea, because during the game I said, this Arsenal team, we are not appreciating this Arsenal team like how we appreciated how pragmatic and how much Jose Mourinho's Chelsea was going on their march to the title. But I don't remember Jose Mourinho Chelsea having shaky ground like Arsenal living on shaky ground right now. And it just adds to the intrigue of this title race. But today's game, Arsenal got a challenge, they saw off the challenge, they come out victorious, and over to you now, Man City, in the words of Countryman.
So you brought up a couple of things, and well, you said a lot, and I just want to say this, regarding Arsenal, and big up to all the gooners out there and gunners or whatever they want to call themselves. The bottom line is that, and you highlighted this, it's irrelevant how they win games at this stage. It's irrelevant to me how they score goals. They call them set piece FC, call them whatever, call them EPL title winner. That is the ultimate objective. So, and I think I need to kind of take a step back too and stop focusing too much on this set piece. I mean, at the end of the day, it's a goal, they score a goal, 16 or whatever they may be. Because, the fact that every man I use some stats are running now. I mean, them things are really, I mean, from a opponent standpoint, it's irrelevant because, yes, from an analytical perspective, you want to design and try to nullify the opponent's strength. And this is a strength of Arsenal. And that begs the question, how comes nobody can stop it yet? So, 16 goals, big up to Arsenal for finding a way to score goals, most importantly, regarding whether it's set piece or not. Big up to this team for finding solutions and finding ways to win games. As opposed to the shaky part, as it relates to the shaky part of this thing, winning Premier League title or titles or any title, It's not easy. It's a difficult grind. I was fortunate to win some local bush league title in my local day playing football, and those were a grind, not to the level of them big man things there. And I
Right.
say all of that to say this because there's an appreciation to the journey. There's an appreciation to the grind. Ultimately, even if you fail to achieve the objective, there should be lessons learned. Now, granted, a man might say Arsenal have learned lessons every year and can't capitalize on those learnings. So this is the year. But we'll get to Man City here in a few minutes. But and talk about the vulnerabilities that we think are there with Man City. But I think the vulnerabilities are there with Arsenal, yes. But the bottom line is that they're finding ways to win football games. And that in itself, I applaud them.
Yeah, and you brought up a key point. And this is where, and I keep talking about traditional media, or not traditional media, but traditional consumption of data. And follows, that's part of my day-to-day work. But when we analyze how people consume data nowadays, with like I said, we're in a microwave society, so there's not an appreciation for the journey. And I know when you were on your journey to winning your title, and I have won titles as well as both playing, coaching, and whatever. There was never a moment in game 5 in a 20-game season when I'm worried about game 20. There's never a moment in game 15 when I'm worried about game 20. And it seemed to me like the media or the consumers, the fans, are so enamored with the final game that they're not appreciating these steps that the teams are taking. And unfortunately, this pressure is rolling over to the teams. We see Pep last year when Pep scrape up him head, and now you see Arteta now with him black eye.
Allegedly, the man say him good.
It is what it is. You get a black eye and you win. It's not like Arteta defending on the corners. Where the hell you get a black eye from?
Hey.
So unless he's helping with the defensive setup on the corners, maybe. But I digress. But we're not appreciating the steps that teams take anymore. And we're more worried about but them win a title first, other than you realize Arsenal just figured out a way how to beat Chelsea. You realize Arsenal, with all this pressure around them, with all the mind games Pep is playing, they are still figuring a way out to win these games. And that is something that is being lost in today's world. For really sit down and think about it, with losing that sense of accomplishment of the journey, which when you win the title, I say, you have to talk to people like me and BM, who are perennial Premier League title fans. We used to winning titles. So when Arsenal people are not used to winning titles,
you're going too far now. You're going what? You're going.
If
win a Premier League title from 2012. How are
if
you
you're
now?
a Manchester United fan and you're born before the year 2000, you're a perennial Premier League winner.
You know what? Manchester United might be the new Arsenal in terms of Premier League title. All year 2036 and I still might not win one.
Well, whatever. But
all the year, you know what? Let's put it. All the year 2040, you might not win a Premier League title. Yo, so take a step back and one who laments about PM and I, and humble in itself, man.
Well, we'll see. But that's something that the Arsenal, and I get it. And again, Benton, you have to understand the Arsenal fans. They don't know how to handle this little feeling right now, So
hey,
it's hard for them to enjoy the journey, but they have to learn to enjoy the journey. They have to learn to appreciate it. Now, there's a rhetoric out there that we have to always have a negative to the positive. There always have to be balance somewhere. Yeah. And that goes to what you were talking about with with the impression like, yo, all Arsenal can do is score upon set piece. Okay, stop them. No, we can't stop them. So why would Arsenal stop themselves?
Yeah.
If the objective is to score a goal and we find a way to score a goal, why are we going to stop ourselves? That don't make sense. So, yo, do what they're supposed to do, man.
On the Chelsea side of things, I think Chelsea did play well. By the way, welcome to BCN Sports Ball Chat Weekly. Please subscribe to the channel, smash the like button, and turn on the notification bell so you get announcements or notification when we drop a video. And we drop videos every day, sometimes multiple times a day. All right, now to the Chelsea side of things, Junior. The red card situation, we can't go around it. And Rossinia spoke about it at his post-match press conference. And the thing that stood out for me is that he said he felt like this issue was resolved. As in, he knew it was an issue coming into the club. He says, I have respect for the previous manager in Enzo Maresca. I don't speak about what happened before, but it's starting to happen with me as it relates to the red card. That's something I felt we had addressed. We went 10 games without a red card. Now we have had 2 in 2 games, and that's a problem we need to solve. He then went on to say it's hard enough to win a game 1v1, let alone hard enough to win a game 11v11, let alone 11v10. Junior, you have a towel, you have a tissue for Rossinia there?
What to unpack that statement? Isn't this his first game with a red card?
No, man.
That's cool.
Let me pull up. In fact, here at BCN Sports, we do have the red card result. Make pull it up. I may pull up the list of red cards. Actually, I had a screen grab here. All right, red cards for Chelsea. Chelsea's player sent off this season. When did Rossinia come in? So Fofana got a red card last game against Brighton. Mark Cucurella got a red card against Fulham. He's saying it started to happen with him. Chelsea's 2 red cards away from tying the season red card with Sunderland Hall in the Premier League.
That's what I wanted to unpack, because look, a red card offense. You don't need to coach for that. You don't need to train for that. It's just responsibility. That's just being a responsible player. If you have to talk about coaching or making adjustments for red cards to stop getting red cards, then we have to talk about making adjustments for own goals. We have to talk about making adjustments for giving away penalties. Like, look,
So they have now received 5 red cards in the last 6 games? How many box cover? My mom. Hey, how they clout are going over this? No, man, this is a chronic problem, man.
It is a chronic problem, but I don't like, what the hell? What kind of, if I don't know.
And this is an all competition, by the way, not the Premier League.
But I'm trying to figure out how the hell a coach is going to
rectify.
Yeah, like, yo, you tell your man them, say, yo.
I mean, maybe them need to insert a thing about the money. I mean, put a fine in it. Attach a fine with a red card. Because when you get a red card, you miss 2 games, sometimes 3 games. And yo, so you have family and friends to take care of, but no, of course, the downside of that is that by attaching a penalty to that, sort of scenario situation is that you might make them less aggressive in those challenges, right?
No, but we wouldn't know. Like, why would we even know that? Why would we know that he's putting in punitive
Yeah, but the players would know, right?
yeah, but you have things like that happen all the time within locker rooms. So why is this even a story? I don't get it. I don't get it. Russ Senior, and maybe you see, this is where football and sport is changing. He should simply say Pedro Neto made a boneheaded move. He should know better. You already know you have a yellow card. You're running beside Martinelli. Martinelli going nowhere. He's on the left wing. You have your three defenders to your right. Just because you're tired. First of all, you lost the ball. Right? And now you're running back. And you get frustrated, so you lash out because you have to run the whole field back. You're just stupid. And that's it. There's nothing to talk about as a team. It's responsibility. Players should be responsible for their own actions on the field. It's not like him take a professional, it's not like him stopping a goal scoring chance. Martinelli was going nowhere other than to the corner flag. He gonna pick up a stupid yellow card like that. It is a second yellow. It is just stupidity, man. So I don't know why this should not be this should be a done story.
BM says, I heard you guys talking about the World Cup. The way Babylon are moved, there might not be any World Cup this year. He also said, you guys know how much I rate Alex Ferguson. I felt when he retired, he took a part of the club with him. I miss the glory days. Yo, BM, sing a Sankey. The glory days now come back anytime soon. All right, let's step over to the other Premier League results. Junior, big game. Let's run through them as quickly because we have quite a few things on the card today. The weekend started with Aston Villa and Unai Emery suffered a major upset against Wolverhampton, 2-0. Unai Emery said something interesting. He said, quote, I misrepresent. Let me get Unai comments here. He says, we are losing the opportunity to win. He says, quote, we are losing the opportunity to win the title in the EPL or in the Premier League. 2 months ago, we were competing with Arsenal and Man City. You were asking me about it. Someone, even myself, may say maybe we can. Some supporters, maybe they were dreaming. No, we are not with the possibility to fight for the Premier League. Some can feel frustrated, even myself, because I have my dreams. In September, I was worried, and the objective was to stay in the Premier League.
Yeah.
He says, in September, I was worried, and the objective was to stay in the Premier League. In December, I was so happy and excited to get the top 5 position and achieve the Champions League. 1 month ago, I was dreaming about winning the Premier League. Now we're in the average to be in the top 5. It seems like Unai Emery are troll the media.
Oh no, he's not. He's trolling himself. Wasn't it Unai Emery himself when they were second in the league, and he was asked a question about, are you in the title race? I talk about no, talk to the end of April. Remember?
Yes, he did say that.
And right after that Sunday, what did I come out and say, Benton? Isn't this Enzo Maresca like?
Yeah, you did. It's Enzo Maresca 2.0.
So why the hell are we surprised now that you're slipping, you damn idiot?
But the coach dismissed it, and now it sounds like he was dreaming of it.
Exactly. So, and again, it goes back to the point I was making with Rossinier. Instead of looking and saying Pedro Neto is a damn idiot for getting the second yellow card. Oh, we try to work at it as a team. So you look at Unai Emery now and say, Unai, you are the reason why, blah, blah. Unai look at you and say, oh, well, actually, I didn't want to put the pressure on my team. What? Oh, well, you and I, let me bring you back. What is it? 12, 13, 14 months ago? Aston Villa was flying high on all fronts. Aston Villa was entering into the quarterfinals of the Europa Champions League. Aston Villa was in the top three at the time, I think. They were in the FA Cup, I believe. And I want to say they were still in the no, they something they finished already, the League Cup. But they were in all three cup competitions. And we sat down and we talked about, remember it was when will Unai Emery's trusting Rashford over the striker name again, man.
Ali Watkins.
Ali Watkins. I remember Ali Watkins was benched for that PSG tie. And they went to Paris and they had such a good game against PSG. And PSG, they were 5 minutes away from beating PSG in Paris. Now PSG have to come to England, blah, 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 blah. And then the bottom fell out.
I mean, and they did compete in that game against PSG in England.
Yes, they did.
They put PSG, it was a barnstorm at the end.
Yes, but what I'm saying is the same thing happened last year, happening again this year in a different flavor. Aston Villa running high in the league, in the top three, in a title race, and then all of a sudden the bottom fall out. Now, to be fair, we remember in the preseason, when we did our preseason show, we were even questioning if Aston Villa would even make it out of relegation because of all the transfers that they did and no transfers in. So Unai Emery, in the grand scheme of things, has done a great job as head coach. However, you got this close and the bottom fall out. Part of it is squad depth. I will give them that. But another part of it, you have to look at Unai Emery and say, is there something that you could have done different? Because forget about top three right now. They need to survive top four. And at the way how things are trekking right now, barring a miracle, Aston Villa might fall out the top five. I remember we said it before Christmas. I said, I expect Aston Villa to fall out some way, somehow. And unfortunately, it is.
Yeah, you salt up among them, brethren. You absolutely salt them up.
You saw it coming.
BM says, what are your thoughts on Bailey since he returned to Villa?
Go ahead and say it. I have no thoughts on Bailey. Leon Bailey is a player that was unwanted by Aston Villa, sent to Roma. Roma had him and didn't want him anymore and sent him back.
Yo, my thoughts on Bailey since he returned from Roma is that BM and football fans, Bailey can contribute a little more. Him can help the team. The game's impact players make impacts. And Bailey now make no impact. But it's not unique to him. Other players now make no impact either. But he's still a Villa player that needs to, who knows? I mean, what's the contract? 2 more years left? So, we know. So, that's my thoughts on him. But, he still have the remainder of the season to make an impact. In fact, if you ask Bullet the same question, he will tell you the same thing. We don't know how it go. A man back broad. Him now hide and talk.
And when I hide and talk either, that's cute. If I was to talk, I would say, Mr. Butler, that's cute.
Okay.
But on the other hand, the reality is he was unwanted by Villa, went to Roma, didn't work out, and they sent him back to Villa. And Villa now is in a position where they can have a player that you're not using, or you find some use for him. That's just the truth. That's just the truth.
Yeah. I mean, that's a straight thing. But also, Aston Villa have some players who they never want. Now them find them way back to Aston Villa and them now do a thing. For the non-Jamaican audience, there are some players who Aston Villa does not want, and they found their way back after a loan move or a transfer, and they're not contributing back to Villa. Douglas Luiz, come on down. Douglas Luiz looked like a shadow of himself. Yo, a few years ago, Douglas Luiz was probably one of the highest regarded CDM in EPL. Look at Douglas Luiz now. I have no idea who's this player we're looking at. He went to Juve, went to Forest, now he's back on loan at Aston Villa and can't even command the midfield. They're missing Kamara and the bottom of fallout. So
the midfield is and Tillemans, right?
Yeah, Tillemans probably out there. But I'm like, what is this Douglas Luiz? And I will take this a step further. Douglas Luiz was ahead of Bruno Guimaraes in this whole Brazil pecking order 2-3 seasons ago. Yeah. Look at Douglas Luiz now. Yeah. Box cover. It doesn't make any sense.
Things change, man.
Things change. All right, EPL roundup results. Let's look at it. Like we said, Aston Villa suffered a 2-0 defeat to Wolverhampton. Well, Junior,
you realize something too?
Yes.
All the teams, even look at the relegation battle. The bottom 6 teams. They all 4 out of the 6 teams at the bottom have something in common.
Them lose.
No, not only that.
What?
Nuno.
Oh, I knew. It's a Nuno. It's a Nuno thing around.
Look at it. Actually, yeah, 4 at the bottom 5 teams, actually.
So you have a Wolves, Spurs, West Ham now, Forest.
And Nottingham Forest.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Nuno has a hand in...
Maybe Nuno is not as good a coach as we thought he was.
You're talking about salt.
Alright, before we get to the Nuno situation, Junior, Mr. Igor Tudor, probably have to go see the PGMO. I probably have to see the FA leadership after his statements in the post-match press conference. And they suffered a 2-1 defeat to Fulham. And he said, quote, there was a home field referee, end quote.
Yo,
he went on to say he was a home team referee who doesn't understand football. And he then said Raul Jimenez was cheating. And before, what Tottenham get this manager from?
And we chronicled his extensive CV, right? How him jump from place to place. No, we see why. Because he's mad. This guy is nuts. So
him no and keep him looking money in his pocket.
Is Tottenham in danger of relegation?
Yes. That's a given. Yeah. They might get relegated. Absolutely. Absolutely. They might get relegated. And we can't go around it no longer. I mean, in fact, let me pull up the Premier League standing and see where.
Yeah, right now they are 4 points ahead of West Ham.
They're West Ham absolutely in jeopardy of.
So Tottenham next host Crystal Palace. Then they travel to Atletico Madrid for Champions League.
Imagine that. You might really get relegated and make a deep run in the Champions League.
Exactly. Well, not a deep run, because if you are Tudor, so if you're Igor, so Thursday you play at Crystal Palace. Then the following Tuesday you travel to Atletico Madrid. Then the following Sunday you travel to Liverpool. I am playing the under-21s in Atletico Madrid. Yeah, surviving Premier League is my priority.
No, but you make more money.
Make more money
into the next run at the Champions League.
Igor doesn't care about making more money right now. He might try to survive. Look, I don't care about Champions League for Tottenham. they're going to lose to Atletico Madrid and lose badly. So they host Crystal Palace, travel to Anfield.
And but Junior, you can't play under 21 because you already have to submit your Champions League squad.
Well, you go scoop. This is the big game. They host Nottingham Forest 4 days after the second leg of the Champions League game. No, Tottenham will survive. Looking at their schedule, they will survive. So, well, why I don't know, you know. So after March, after the host Nottingham Forest, they travel to Sunderland, host Brighton, travel to Wolves, travel to Aston Villa, host Leeds, travel to Tottenham,
travel to Chelsea.
Travel to Chelsea and then host Everton to end the season. They might survive.
That's wouldn't you call that murder's row?
It's tricky. You have to. The reason why it's tricky is because the easy games, the quote unquote easy games, actually it's not even easy games because Sunderland ahead of you.
There's no easy game.
There's no easy games, so you have to. Wolves
you just get hit up by Fulham 2-1 and your manager said the referee is a home referee.
Wolves is the only easy game. I would just
Junior, Wolves is not an easy game.
I know. And the Wolverhampton fans would love to carry Tottenham with them going out.
Of course.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, when was last time Tottenham won an EPL game?
That's a good question. I'll tell you in a second. Let's see results. The last time Tottenham won a game, let's see.
This can't be right. December 28th, they defeated Crystal Palace 1-0.
I'll tell you, they lost to Fulham, lost to Arsenal 4-1, lost to Newcastle 2-1, lost to Man U 2-0, draw with City, draw with Burnley, lost to West Ham, lost to Aston Villa, lost to Bournemouth, draw with Sunderland, draw with Brentford. Mid backside, we got a 2025 for real. Their last win was December 28th against Crystal Palace.
So they haven't won a game in the English Premier League in 2026.
In 2026, no.
Well, actually, this is why Thomas Frank got sacked. That's why he was fired.
West Ham defeated them at home.
Yes, West Ham defeated them 2-1.
Sunderland draw with them at home.
And Burnley, and the escape against Burnley. You remember that game where Cristiano Romero scored that header? And you were like, it was a rotted header.
Yeah. Yeah, but Tottenham forget relegated. Go away, Tottenham.
It doesn't look good. It doesn't look good for the team. For the
Spurs.
Team.
Yeah.
BM says Bullhead wouldn't agree with Ballchat. He would tell you Leon is Villa's best player. Yeah. Big up yourself, Bullhead. Hey, let's step away from the English. Before we step away from the English Premier League, Junior, the standing Forest, West Ham, Burnley, Wolves at the bottom. Arsenal continues to lead the table. 5 points ahead of Man City. They have a game in hand. Anything that you want to highlight? Liverpool secured a massive 5-2 victory to push closer towards Aston Villa. Man United is sitting in the third position.
I've done really to highlight other than the schedule crunch and all those teams that are playing in Europe and how the schedule is affecting their run. It should be a dire warning for teams that are trying to get Champions League football and see what really comes with it. That's one thing I would take away from it. Other than that, strap up because we're in for a bumpy ride.
Yeah, bumpy ride indeed. All right, stepping away from the English Premier League to some other major news in the world of football. FIFA president and not UEFA president. ESPN. ESPN has Gianni Infantino labeled as UEFA president. A bit surprised. Infantino said that players should get sent off, Junior, or put the possibility of players getting sent off for covering their mouths during a conversation, during a confrontation. He says, quote, if a player covers his mouth and says something as this and this has a racist consequence, then he has to be sent off, obviously. There must be a presumption that he has said something he shouldn't have said, otherwise he wouldn't have had to cover his mouth, end quote. There are situations where we did see, and he went on and said, not end quote, he went on and said, there are situations which we did not foresee, as in the Pristiani's case. Of course, when you deal with disciplinary case, you have to analyze the situation, you have to have evidence, but we cannot just be satisfied with that going forward. Junior, he said a lot in this thing. He says then FIFA have announced plans to introduce measures ahead of the 2026 World Cup to prevent players from covering their mouths during confrontations at Saturday's meeting of International Football Association Board, IFAB. It's a lot to unpack there. I don't agree with it, and I will go into why I don't agree with it in a second. He then went on to say, Infantino, meanwhile, wants to encourage guilty parties to take public responsibility. He says, quote, maybe we should also think about not just punishing, but also somehow allowing change in our culture, allowing players or whoever does something to apologize. You can do things that you don't want to do in a moment of anger and apologize. And then the sanction has to be different to move one step further. And maybe we should think about something like that as well. And these are actions that we can take and we have to take in order to be serious about our fight against racism. End quote. So he says, in one hand, maybe we need to start sending off players in confrontations while they cover their mouth. He then went on and said that there was they're starting the process. They're introducing rules, changes for the upcoming World Cup. And if it gets through IFAB procedures, he also says maybe if players take responsibility for their action, the punishment could be lighter. I.e., we should have a culture where we're not quick to condemn, because we have players and we as individuals sometimes are quick, sometimes with anger, and we say things out of anger sometimes that we need to apologize for. A lot to unpack there, Junior. This according to ESPN.com.
Benton.
Yes, sir.
BN
says for some reason Infantino reminds me of Michael Ricketts. Them go to the same football politics school.
Yeah, there's maybe there is a football politics blue book. There's a lot to unpack there, and I could take different angles if I really wanted to. I could go for the shock value and say that Infantino is a closet racist trying to normalize racism. I could take that angle based on what he said. When he said, sometimes we need to understand that the player responds out of anger and is not. So basically, he's not racist. He's just angry, and it's like him have a like what happened with at the awards with the youth with the turrets. We come out and say the N-word and whatever, right?
Yeah.
But it's because of the turrets. So how the hell it got into his psyche, right? And Mr. Infantino, how you explain Chilavert, what Chilavert said the other day? How you explain that? That's not out of anger. That's not what Chilivert pretty much saying, give us the opportunity to express ourselves to these set of people the way we want to express ourselves. What Infantino is saying applies to a subset. I don't know how big or how small a subset of angry people this is. You have some people that will truly say some things out of anger that they don't mean or they don't intend to say publicly. But it's coming from a place that is inside of you. You're not gonna pick that out of the ear and then something bite you and it infect you to say this is something that's coming out of you. So let's not try to normalize it. I don't support the banning of the shirt thing. Yo, like I said, find some way. You have the technology. Find some way to put the mics out there. We sit down and watching the games and we hear coaches talking to players while the game is going on. It's not that hard. It's not that hard. And if you tell the players them, hey, you know what would actually work? Tell the players them that we have mics all over the field. I guarantee you, players will stop saying. Players will stop instantly.
Well, you did say put the mic in on them, bro.
Yeah, put the mic in the brassiere, but don't even put any mics out. Just tell them we have mics. I guarantee a player won't try to prove the mics work or don't work.
Yeah,
right?
I think this is a twofold. This thing. Them say, show me your friends and you tell me who you are. And Infantino, we see Infantino friends when they are road a post up with and a par with. And so Infantino cannot be someone who I take seriously when it comes to addressing these issues in football. None of these issues I think Infantino is serious about addressing. This is another part of the performative process. And so when it's part of the performative process, you come with utter nonsense. Nonsense. Like this idea of two players in an argument and you want to implement a rule to send off a player because it cover a mouth in an argument. Well, you tell a man, say, yo, Mamasha works for your young lady last night, That is not a send off. That is not a racist offense. Yo, you see the girl down there where your dad Mash works with? Yo. I mean, and to think that the FIFA president has the audacity to kind of publicly say this is just utter nonsense. Bug of the week. This is absolutely Cristiano guilty of whatever he did, but tons of other players cover their mouth during conflict and should not have to suffer because Cristiano did foolishness. Right. And if IFAB, in fact, this is why we needed the referee on today, because the referee their tournament, we have to page the referee and tell ourselves we're on show next week, Because if IFAB pass this rule, then we need to start a petition because this is foolishness. Absolutely rubbish. And then this thing about apologize. Yo, man, yeah, brother. I mean, I just touched that one.
and the cultures that cannot relate to what we're talking about, because I have to always remind myself there are some people that cannot relate to what we're saying. There are some people that probably sit down there now saying, "What's wrong with these guys?" Infantino is trying to help, right? It's a noble thing he's doing. You have some people that would actually think like that. Yeah, I will look at them and say, you know what? You're right. You're right. Because that is part of the problem. Part of the problem is your ignorance. It's just like how I would sit here and say some things that I am ignorant of other cultures. And say some things that might be offensive. And it doesn't rise to the limit or to the extent of the racism or maybe cultural backlash right now make the anti-black racism go to the top of the chart and draw the most ire or draw the most emotion. But you still have people out there that are just ignorant to other things. The problem for me comes when I do something that is ignorant, and the person come to me and say, that was ignorant of you, this is the reason why, and I look at it and say, I don't care. That's when it becomes a problem. And then I come back and fall back tomorrow and say the same thing all over again. That's when it is a problem for me. So putting in all of these measures right now, I'm pretty sure every professional footballer for the next month or two is not going to say something racist on the field just because of what happened with the Vinny and Pest and whatever I want to name and Champions League. Right, so there's no need for it's just constant reminders are needed, and that's how I see it.
But you know the thing also is that for me is this: basically at the end of the day, you have a product. If FIFA, just like a business, I try make sure that their product, which is the FIFA World Cup or the FIFA Club World Cup or whatever, is able to attract as many potential paying customers as possible. And if your product start to have an environment, or your product, your job site is a culture, producing a culture where you turn off certain customers, so that's not a good business strategy. Now, granted, you may have some wealthy racists out there who money long like rope, who decide to make up for those turned off customers. But how long is that sustainable? Because once that wealthy race is dead, then who are going to fill the void? And I think at the end of the day, from a business standpoint, you have to make sure. Me understand, Infantino, you want balance and you want to try to walk a tightrope because you don't want to piss off one side. But also at the end of the day, if you turn off your customers off your product, then may not be good for business. May not be good for business at all. And speaking about not good for business, Junior, Iran Football Federation came out and said that it's unlikely that they will be at the FIFA World Cup. Iran Federation says participation, not unlikely, participation in the World Cup is in doubt. Now, this is the same Iran Federation did say them then attend the World Cup draw and then them take back them talk. So I don't know which one to believe. Is this enough for, and they've suspended the league, understandably so, because of the bombing and the Iranian league. So is this enough to let the Iranians say, boy, we are draw a line in the sand? Of course, you don't know how going out the road. Junior, over to you.
I'm not walking into this one. I'm not touching that one.
What is certain after this attack, we cannot be expected to look forward to the World Cup with hope, says Medded Taj, one of the leaders over in the Iranian football setup. I mean, brother, if machine are beat, World Cup is not high priority right now.
Right, but then you also, it's a geopolitics and it's something hard to deal with it because you can't imagine you're an Iranian player right now and you saw what happened with Ukraine and you saw the outpouring of support for Ukraine, right? And then as an Iranian player or Iranian national, have your country in the same predicament, same position. And you suffered even not a greater loss, but you've suffered a more significant loss than Ukraine. And the world, whatever. All right, we keep moving, right? And then now me for turn around and come World Cup in 6 months. You mad?
Yeah, your players have to say, yo, brother, act like a man.
It's rough. I would say
it's rough, and it's not something to joke about. That's war and fighting. So my apologies if to listeners if I came off insensitive there, because this is not an insensitive matter. It's It's a very, very serious matter.
And look, you don't have to apologize for that because you did nothing wrong. We are reacting to the facts. These are facts. It's not a joke thing. We're not making up stories here. These are actual facts that we are reacting to. So if somebody sit on one side of the fence and feel away because we're not sympathetic to their side of the fence or vice versa, that's not what we're here for. And that's not what football is for. That's not what sports is for. You had some idiots today. Was it today? Yesterday. You had some idiots at Leeds booing because Man City players had to break their fast.
Yeah.
Those are idiots. Damn idiots. So we can't, the giant side thing, football. I'm on the side of football. And if Iran feel like they don't want to play because of how them feel, look, nothing wrong with that, Iran. Stay your yard.
Stay your yard, ultimately. And big up baller of the week to Pep Guardiola. I think he puts it best. He might not win no more trophy, but definitely. He might not win another trophy, but Pep position himself as a politician or a man who want to take on some of these global issues.
Humanitarian.
Yeah, man. Humanitarian. Him not no foolishness, right?
Iran's World Cup schedule: Belgium, Egypt, and New Zealand. Egypt.
Yeah.
They play Egypt June 26th. That's the last game in the group. Yeah, you hear me?
Well, as BM said earlier, we don't even know if World Cup will keep the way Babylon are.
Exactly.
So, I mean, just them life over them things. The World Cup is secondary. It's one of them luxury things that when life and safety is secure. Right now, some people's safety is not secure, so we can't just say World Cup. We have to say, can't say that. Even though I know it's a code speed and the other work on the plan right now. Let's segue to the Jamaican football report. Yard ballers. Let's kick it off with the Reggaegirlz. Reggaegirlz will face Nicaragua tomorrow in the CONCACAF W Championship. Reggaegirlz, plain and simple, just need to win the ball game. The group winner advance to the CONCACAF W Championship and wish, 4 teams from that. 4 teams will automatically qualify for the 2027 World Cup, but you have to qualify for this CONCACAF W Championship first and foremost. Junior, the big side roll out. We'll do a watch along for the game tomorrow, 7 p.m. kicking off. Reggaegirlz sitting in Group B. Nicaragua is on 6 points from 2 games. Reggaegirlz, of course, 3 points from 1 game with a goal difference of 18. No word from the coaching staff. I mean, the game is in Nicaragua. I didn't see a pre-match press conference today from the coaching staff, so I guess at some point this evening I will see. But your thoughts on this game, Junior?
What is there to think about? Like you said, just go out there and win handsomely. Butter bruise aside, if you can, drop all 10.
Exactly.
That should be the goal.
Exactly. We saw Shania Hales in the spotlight on the JFF website. JFF is promoting some of these players. Natasha Thomas also being promoted. JFF website promoting the players now, Junior. At least promoting the Reggaegirlz. Then Blackwood, player spotlight.
They have to sell jerseys.
Trudy Carter, player spotlight. I mean, JFF, and then finally find the script. Oh, BM says there was a press conference earlier with the coach and Bunny. Yeah, thanks, BM. I missed that. Definitely. Big up, coach Hubert Busby. Anything major takeaway from that press conference, BM? BM will let us know. All right,
Hey,
Junior, I
backside.
know to the. You don't have anything else to say about the Reggae Girls other than just win the ball game tomorrow?
Just win the ball game tomorrow. Benton. Go
Yes.
ahead, go ahead, go ahead, go ahead, go ahead, go ahead, go ahead. I have a question. You still time for the New Caledonia Jamaica kickoff?
No, I did not. What time it is?
11 p.m.
So this is in what, you have a problem with that?
Yeah, wait up a bedtime that.
Junior, we not miss New Caledonia, Jamaica about bedtime. What time, what day of the week is that game?
Thursday.
Oh, enough people are calling sick Friday. No, to the young reggae boys. The young reggae boys are doing quite well in the CONCACAF U20 tournament. Trying to win this group to advance to the next round. BM says nothing major regarding the press conference. Junior, one of the great things for me with this young reggae boys team is that we're seeing some of the U17 players. Jamari Nolan, for example, comes to mind. Getting a run in this team, and this is where you kind of build players, right?
Right, and it's something that we called for earlier during the other tournament and saying how do we matriculate these players forward? And it's nice to see them getting games now, and it would even be nicer if at the end of the tournament one or two of the players will get called to the senior squad for the World Cup qualifications. Not necessarily to play, but just to be around and training, right? So, like we say,
Yeah, but you don't need to call them for that. Just have them, you don't need. Because you don't want to play when you're not going to use that World Cup qualifier. But you can just bring them around.
every squad have at least
And make
three
them
players
train.
that will play.
If some of the JFF, you know what? Some of the JFF leader can give up them seat on the bus or on the plane. For you them.
Moving on.
But the boys have been doing quite well. Their next game, over in group, they will next play St. Kitts and Nevis. They defeated Cayman Islands 9-0 yesterday. They will play St. Kitts and Nevis and they round out against Puerto Rico, which might be the toughest game of this group for this young team.
Yeah, and that's a relative statement. Might be the toughest game. That one thing I love though is that both U17 and the U20s are doing well. So that shows me that the future is bright for the national team because these players should just one step, one step, one step. Now, assuming that they will mature because the body is still growing, the body is still maturing, and mentally they are still trying to decide what they want to do with their lives. So, assuming that they continue matriculating forward, the next World Cup cycle is supposed to have some of these players in there, and that's what I'm looking forward to the most.
Yes, ultimately. In fact, Miguel Coley, this is where he's been heralded as a man who developed talent. Young ballers need to in and around him and getting developed and into the national setup ASAP and of course earn a living from the sport. BM says if everything goes according to form, the girls should play Costa Rica in the quarterfinal in November. So yeah, BM already looking at the match weird on this. So we just have to look for Nicaragua right there. So there's some means there.
Yeah, we start at Nicaragua.
All right, over to the Jamaican Premier League. Junior, let's take a look at the latest results in the Jamaican Premier League. Chapelton suffered a 1-0 defeat to Dumbo Holding. Montego Bay and Arnett ended 1-1. Racing suffered a 1-0 defeat at the hands of Cavalier. Treasure Beach fix up Tivoli 4-2, and Mount Pleasant and Portmore will kick off at 7 p.m. family.
Yeah. And you know one thing that hit me about this league, it's too damn long.
Why?
It's too
It's a
long.
Premier League. Why you want to shorten it to what?
Benton,
It's the number one league in the country.
it's the only league in the country. But it's only 14
I
teams.
mean, we have Reno playing in one league.
Benton, it's only 14 teams. And Montego Bay already played 25 games.
Yeah, they do play a lot of games. They do play a lot of games. And I want to say, I want to say it was either brought up by former PFL chairman.
Yes, I remember this thing.
I think he did mention the possibility, but maybe got voted down. It's a long season. So would you then incorporate a knockout competition?
They do have a knockout competition.
Well, a long time minister that knockout competition play.
No, because you qualify out of the league play to go into knockout. Remember?
Now make the knockout competition the entire. You know what? In fact, you know what? Let me look this up, because a long time I remember the knockout.
Remember that's how the JPL work. So the top 6 teams go into the knockout. The top 2 teams get a bye, and then 3, 4, 5, 6 play against each other to go to semifinals.
No, so that are the playoffs of the JPL. Me I talk about like a
Right.
FA Cup. FA Cup sort of competition.
But that's the thing. So I agree with you. Let the league make the team that have the most points in the league, you win the league. Right? Go and win the league that way. And then you have a knockout tournament that is separate from the league. I agree with you.
Yeah, so there was one, I think it used to be called the Lynx. Was it the Lynx knockout I can't even remember.
I remember there was a knockout competition, yeah.
And so I don't even know if that that competition BM, you remember that competition? If they have BM are the go-to man, you know, because they used to have like a knockout competition with the Premier League teams and the teams in the second division. And in fact, because I used to even watch some of the games on whatever. It was one of them Fox Sports channel there, whatever you call. But I can't remember when last time I saw that competition. And I don't know if there's a knockout competition. I know there are different tier competitions. No, there's Premier League, and then there's tier 1, second division and third division. Yeah. Montego Bay United leads the table. Yes, the BM said the last time the Knockout Cup was played was in 2023. I'm not sure why they stopped it. Yes, 2023. Big up yourself, BM, for that insight. So they would I love to see the knockout competition resume. Maybe no money in a make. Looking at the table, Junior, Montego Bay United leads with 51 points. Spanish Town at the bottom with 18 points. Harborview might stay up, Junior. They're 3 points outside the drop. 3 points away from Mullines.
Well, they have Mullines have a game in hand. So we can see how that game go first. And the Mullines play against Waterhouse, right?
Yeah. Did I? Yeah. Maybe this round.
Yeah. Mullines next game is against Waterhouse.
Yeah.
So we can see how that game go first. But yeah, Harborview are trying to figure out themselves.
Yeah.
Can't put it any other way. And tomorrow they play tomorrow. So that's a big game.
Yeah, big game. That's it for today's show, Jamaican Football Roundup. We didn't touch Champions League round of 16 draw. You know, we did so many shows. We did that in the watch up. in the headlines. Any quick thoughts on the Champions League draw before we go my way out?
No, I mean, we kind of predicted it last Wednesday, and the predictions kind of came through. Remember, we were talking about Real Madrid probably going back to Portugal to play Sporting or playing against Man City. Sporting had a better record, so naturally, you'll think that they would play Real Man City, and that's what ended up happening. I think I think somebody posted that they need to change the way they've done. Big up Shad from the Jamaican Football Forum was posting about. I think it was Shad. Sorry if I know you, but was saying like pretty much they need to change the format of the Champions League knockout because just rephrasing, it put too much obscurity in it and gives them too much wiggle room to do what they want, which is exactly what they want anyway. So you have an opportunity for every round. You can create matchups that benefits you on TV. It's a no-brainer. Of course, I'll do that if I can. So Man City, Real Madrid, sorry, only use the cash cow this Champions League tie.
Yeah, yeah. BM says the future is bright for Jamaica if the young reggae boys are given the opportunity by the JFF to matriculate. JFF always thinks the formula for success is to chase players from England. Yep, definitely the formula that now work, and it's most costly, probably more costly. You have your flying man from this on them. Some people don't want to fly in our economy. They want to fly business class or first class. Before we go, Junior, we have to send a salute to Dick Advocat, a Curacao. This is a football show. We cover all things football. Dick Advocat announced that he will be stepping down from coaching Curacao at the World Cup. Family reasons again. Junior, what a thing. I mean, at the end of the day, of course, you have to, your family come first, but what a thing. You qualified this team for the World Cup. And the sitar, I think he says his daughter, or I saw a report that he'll be taking care of his daughter or something to that effect.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's just another reminder that how precious life is. And when we sit down and talk about sports and the joys of sports, there's also the other side where life can come in and remind you sometimes. So, that's all I can say. Big up, Dick Advocat. That's all I can say. And salute to him putting family first and putting his priorities in order. I really hope that whatever you're going through, prayers and thoughts and going up to you and your family, and hopefully you can ride through this wave and come out at the other end feeling better.
Yeah. The report is that I think former Wolfsburg manager Fred Rutten will be the man to lead Curacao to the World Cup. What a easy job, Regin. The man out qualified for the side,
I'm surprised. I'm surprised Steve McLaren never put him in the hat.
Steve McLaren or Steve Bruce.
Steve Bruce.
Steve Bruce. I'm surprised they never put them name in their hat or make a call. Maybe Steve Bruce called and did ask if he can get the work. So, yeah. Well, not Wolfsburg, former PSV and Anderlecht manager Fred Rutten is the man that will take Curacao to the FIFA World Cup. So, big up to Dick Advocat and his family. Big up yourself, and congrats to Curacao and making that monumental youngest team. He says in his statement that throughout his tenure as a coach, this is probably his greatest achievement, to qualify this small island to the World Cup. And imagine that, even all of that, the World Cup might not keep.
Why are you like this, man?
BM says it's unfortunate we won't see the great Dick Advocaat finish the job he started. Big up yourself, Dick Advocaat. Big up. I hate that, Time for go my yard. People have a wonderful week. Junior, big up yourself. No chance safely out the road. Now, BM, big up yourself. Watch along tomorrow for 6:55 thereabout. Reggaegirlz versus Nicaragua.
Now I've practice tomorrow.
Yeah, man, we lock and loaded. Reggaegirlz line up in a jersey. I wonder which jersey I'm wear tomorrow. Bob Marley edition.
Let us see. That's a very good question.
BM says, I'm still in awe at Dick Advocaat working remotely and getting the better of Steve McLaren. The man did up on Zoom our teams and a coach. Yo, people, chat safely out the road. Bless up on yourself. We go on the road,
Yeah.